followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do, you are the first caller and will be placed on hold until the next caller arrives.
Hello?
Hello, this is Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, Stan, how you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
Really well, thanks.
Good deal. I saw there was a bunch of fires up that way.
Yeah, I flew back in and was totally inundated by smoke and heat.
Oh, yeah, that's what I read. Really, really hot temperatures and fire.
Yeah, 105.
Geez.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat, blah, 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 blah.
Is Roy there?
No, I've spoken to him this morning. Wasn't clear whether he was going to be able to make it or not. And to be totally honest with you, I have absolutely no idea whether or not anybody else will attend. They, obviously can if they want to, but would be surprised if anybody jumps on this call, maybe with the exception of Sam.
Okay.
But I haven't spoken to anybody. Just back in the office this morning for the first time in about 10 days.
Okay.
You in Florida?
Yes, I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
How was your Alaska trip?
Oh, it was very nice. We had a great time.
Cool.
It was tiring. I mean, I felt like when we came home, we had to take some time to recover. It was just go, go, go. And, I planned things for just about every day. So
Right.
it was kind of crazy. But, it was fabulous. It was
Good.
awesome.
Glad to hear it.
Hi. Hi, Angela. It's Kathy. Stan's on as well.
Hey, Angela, how you doing today?
This is Cindy.
Oh.
Oh, hi, Cindy. Sorry. It's Angela.
Hi, Cindy.
I was like, is Angela on too? Yeah, Angela's going to be here. Okay.
Hey, Cindy, how you doing? This is Stan.
Hey, Stan.
Long time no talk.
Yeah, really. Are we supposed to click into this go-to meeting? Is there a visual also, Kathy? Yes, yeah, you'll need to sign on. Hi, this is Angela.
Hey, Angela,
Hi,
it's
Angela. Kathy.
and Stan.
Angela.
Oh boy.
Hello. Hello. We have a couple of people joining. From the giver side, are we in a room with multiple viewers, or are we just a single viewer right now?
Right now, it's just me, Angela. This is Stan.
Okay. Okay.
As I was
I'm sorry.
As I was explaining to Kathy, today's my first day back after a couple weeks off. I have spoken to Roy, and he was unclear as to whether or not he'd be able to make it or not. And as far as other attendees, I honestly have no idea whether or not anybody else will attend.
Okay. Okay. I think Mariah's not gone.
Who's that? Oh, yeah, I see that.
Maria, are you there? Yes, you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Maria. Okay. Hello, everybody. Whoever is there.
Hello,
Hi,
Maria.
how are you, Maria? Hey, Maria.
Boy.
Okay, so in the interest of time, because we do only have an hour, why don't we go ahead and begin? This is our EDI discussion. It's meant to be a high-level overview of the features and functions available through EDI and the system. today is talk about, as Angela said, EDI. And there is an EDI menu that is available from your, let me go back a second, from your interface menu. You see option 18 is the interface menu. And then from there, we can go into number 16, and that is the EDI menu. And this is where we're going to spend our time today, is talking through these various options and explaining the EDI functions that we have available within the current system. So with that, I'll turn it over to Maria, who will lead our discussion today.
Very well. EDI, which is EDI, is electronic data interchange. It is a set of transactions that are regulated by a standards group. We have some of them that when we book an order or ship order, a purchase order, we will receive it then from the trading partner. For all this to happen, we need to, it is made of two parts. The one from N2N Global, which produces interfaces. When we do this process in the order processes, we create files. Hello?
Go ahead, Maria. We're just getting end of the people sign off, but you're all right. You're okay.
We create files which they are going to be processed by a third-party software that you will install at your site. That particular software will translate our files into the standards for EDI, and then we translate it to the training partner. And again, when we receive, for example, a purchase order, that third-party software will translate the file coming in from the trading partner into N2N Global interface files, and then we process them automatically into our system. Before all that happened, we had to have a dictionary of UPC codes or G10 codes. And for that, we have option number one, EDI control file maintenance. And there we will enter all the elements right here. This is for the UPC. At this point we have UPC and G10. G10 eventually will replace the UPC. When we generate the interface files, we have to translate the item, the line item, into a code, into a number, that then it will be transmitted to the trading partner, or we will receive it from the trading partner. In order to translate that number into our elements, we have to define how that G10 number or UPC is going to be composed. Like, is it going to contain the district, the variety, the pack, the grade, and so on. And then we have to have a manufacturer ID and a reference number, which could be automatically generated by the system, or if you already have UPCs or G10 numbers established, you just use them and enter the numbers manually into our dictionary. This is just showing UPC. If we press enter, we will see the ones for the G10s. In a similar manner, we have the definition of each element that that code will contain.
Maria? Maria, this is Stan. Can you hold on for 1 second, please?
With the G10,
You got it on mute. Well, I don't
we
think
have
so. In fact, I was talking to them earlier.
a bigger number than the UPC.
What the hell happened?
And one of the main things is the packaging code, which is the first character on
I
each
don't
code.
have them on mute here. Maria, can you hear me?
It's very important. Even it is for most of
Maria?
them to be user defined.
Hello?
Doing the training parties.
I was
They
talking to
can
them
determine
earlier.
what it is.
Shit.
One
That's
is
not
going
good.
to be in these days the default indicating that it's dealing with cases.
I could try
Normally
doing it
we
through
say
here.
a
to hammer it down.
custom,
Oh boy. Hello?
Hold on. It's kicking.
Okay.
There are 11 other callers on the call.
that is their discussion later for what they mean.
Maria?
Uh-huh.
This is Stan. I just switched from using the telephone to the internet microphone, etc. Can you hold on for 1 second? Roy just joined us, and I actually wanted to ask Roy a question as it pertains to what you've shown so far.
I'm sorry, your voice went away.
Can you?
Yeah, you cut out for a second, Stan. I put into the window that if everyone can mute their phone so as not to create an echo, and then just go ahead and enter your questions into the chat window.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and try to answer them at given points, just so those not to have echoes.
Okay. All right. Good enough.
Okay. If you have a question right now, we could try to pose it since we are unmuted.
What I was going to ask Roy is, do the products get shipped under the manufacturer's ID of Shalane Fresh Marketing?
Yes.
They do.
And if we're using the G10 number through the N2N system, do we have to put them in manually, or will the system pick them up? Since we had the N2N system create our G10s for us.
If I understand the question, the system will pick them up. Okay. You've generated the G10s in.
If you already had G10s generated, you will manually enter the codes in the dictionary, and then when we create the EDI transaction, say for example, when we ship the order, we'll generate an advanced shipment notice of EDI, and at that point, automatically we pick it up. Also, you have the flexibility to send the trading partner code. We have a cross-reference file that you will enter your code,
Muted.
partner, and and we define that as a format. And you will see it in a few minutes in the customer master when we indicate that. So that when we generate the transaction, we will pick up. We go back to number 2, just
Click on
briefly.
The little icon over there.
This thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Click on that.
This is just for UPC, but it is also for the G10. And what this when you press enter, the system will generate all the UPCs or the G10s in the system. For each item, we will generate a G10. So the system has the ability to produce those for you.
Which we already did.
Mm-hmm.
We go now to briefly to look at the EDI training partner setup, option 18. And let's check this number 2 dry. And here this is the customer file where you have all the information for the customer. And one of the parameters or options in this is the EDI, is an EDI customer. And if you say yes, when you press enter, we will have all the options available for the trading partner. These are all the transactions that we have at the moment. We have the advanced shipment notice, the PO, the purchase order changes, the invoices, transportation. We have a combination of shipment and invoice transaction. We have a warehouse shipping order. and warehouse shipping advice, and credit and debit adjustments that you may receive from your trading partner. Those are the transactions, and you will say it's in test or it's in production, or yes or not. Then we have a few options for the invoices. For example, if you want to print a hard copy of the invoice in addition of the EDI transaction, you have the option to, as soon as we produce the EDI transaction, just send it, or you would like to review it, for which we have an online screen that you will go and one by one you look at it and authorize to be sent, or you want to hold it. Then also you have the option in invoices to send just originals. You don't want any revised invoices to be sent to them, or send both of them, originals and an exhibition. Then for the trading partner, there is a DUNS number. This is the Dun and Bradstreet number that is used to identify in the system and the trading partner. They need this code. Again, we had UPC format or G10 format. This is what I was saying. And here, according to the format, we will translate our number into the trading partner number, or just send the trading partner number. I mean, your number. Then we had, for invoices, we handled two formats, the A10 and A80. It's an invoice, but it's just a different type of format for EDI. And we have auto process in this case. When we book the order, which is an EDI acknowledgement, it's called. That means when the purchase order is received, and then we process in the system, and then you book the order. It's at that point, it generates a transaction, an EDI transaction called PO acknowledgement. This flag here is telling the system, yes, produce that automatically. Also, the A56 transaction, which is an advanced shipment notice, is when we ship the order, if you want to send that automatically or process automatically, that's what it means. There are more options. Press enter, Kathy, please. There are, when you have substitutions, if you want to monitor them, there are reports that will show you. There are the report for when you receive purchase orders. If you have a special printer, that all those reports should go. This is a place for it. The same goes for the error report. When you receive a purchase order and there is an error, the copy for the EDI users, for the administrator of the EDI, you want to produce a report or not. For the A56, which is the advanced shipments, you want to produce, when you produce the EDI transaction, you want to include the pallets, yes or not. And again, for the advanced shipment, you want to extract just the open records, which we call this open records in our system. It's just the active records at the moment, or you want to also extract previous history. You say you received the item from the trading partner and you modify it one time or a couple of times. Do you want to, in our system, we close that existing record and we produce another record, the history of it. So do you want to extract into the EDI transaction the history and the active record at the moment? Then we have a lot of information that we need here. All of this refers to the transaction called continuous replenishment, which is an inventory transaction. You can keep track of the inventory at the trading partner site, and there are things that we need to know in order for automatically generate the purchase orders and track of the numbers and so on. So very briefly, these are the main options that need to be set up in the system before we can start producing the EDI transaction. Then we have for the EDI invoice number 3. Number 3, for example. Let's take 2. Invoice menu. Oh no, I'm sorry. Sorry, go back.
Kathy's driving.
Let's number 3.
I think Maria lives in Georgia these days. I'm not sure. She's retired 5 times.
When we produce the invoices, if you have selected the option to review the invoices, you will have an online screen, which is just the one here. This is just a selection screen by bill to or invoice or invoice number they arrange. So say we press enter, please. This is just an example of how it looks like. It will show you all the invoices that are pending here to take an action. They have been, like the EDI transaction has been produced. It had not been sent to the trading partner, waiting for your decision. In this particular example, it is. Well, it is pending. That is a status of an age supposed to be held. And that's what you have in order to review the invoices. We get out here. And the approved for the 4 is the same screen. And you approve or delete. So we get out here.
You want to go back, Maria? One menu?
Yes.
Okay.
I assume Maria's not in Florida, but I don't know that for certain.
We have a transaction for the purchase order. Present for most of these transactions in A1.
How can I see who's on the call?
A1, please.
No, I'm sorry.
Earlier, I could see you. Apparently,
I didn't catch that, Maria.
Uh-huh.
When you receive purchase orders, could be a situation where an error occurred because they didn't send all the information correctly. So it is going to appear, we will produce a report when that happens, but also you have the option to resubmit the purchase orders from this screen here or delete it. Before doing that, you have to fix the files or request the trading partner to resend you the purchase order. Most of the time, it's just a very brief error that could be fixed. So most of the time, it's fixed, and then you resubmit it to be processed. Also, for purchase orders, Kathy, we go to order processing.
She's going to say no. Do you have a question?
Briefly.
Mm-hmm.
When we receive a purchase, we create the order in the system. but because we don't know what location or cheaper you are going to provide from, we set up a kind of a dummy location. So
Did you have one set up, Maria?
but no, but this screen doesn't show all the options that we normally do. How is that? How did you get into this? Did you go OP menu?
Yeah, I'm in the open order search. Is that where you want me to go?
It's only gonna work if she's paying attention.
Well, normally we have
No.
options here. I was going to show there is the options for reviewing all the purchase orders. If it is a purchase order,
But
it's an order, an EDI order.
Yeah.
We
What's
flag
the
it as an
primary?
EDI order when we create the purchase order. But I don't.
Oh, it's probably because they don't. For my user ID, I don't have that particular format set up.
Can I send
Oh.
That's why you don't see all the options.
Shit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's not enough for everyone.
So that's based on, for the group, that's based on user format. There's different formats when you come to the screen that you see different options. And I see, hold on, Marie, I see Stan has a question. He wants to understand that, he wants to ask, if a purchase order has an error, do we, that you can fix, do I understand that you can fix the end-to-end issues and reprocess or delete the PO and ask the trading partner to resend?
That's
Can you
correct.
kind of clarify the PO error, Maria?
What is the PO error?
Can you clarify if there's a PO error, how do you fix it? They can fix it and then do a reprocess or delete it and ask the trading partner to resend.
Right. When we receive the purchase order, we created a file. So you can go to that file and correct the data. And then you resubmit the purchase order or delete it and request a new one. Answer the question?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, number 5. We had number 1.
Oh, wait, Maria, when you correct the data, do you correct the data in the bridge files or where do you correct the data on a PO error?
And the file is in the interface file.
Okay, so that I would go through, is there a menu option that we have to allow a user to correct the data?
No, that has to be a technical person to do that. Because,
Oh, okay.
normally, could be a bronze number or the mapping of the EDI transaction is not correct. So given sometimes by experience, the users get very confused. What is that they had to do? So normally the programmer has, there is a EDI administrator which had a little knowledge how the files look like, but it's physically with IBM utility go and change the file with the update data.
Okay. So that's a good point, Maria. I mean, a lot of the clients that use EDI, I mean, they do have an EDI administrator that kind of handles all this mapping with the third-party software and helps with errors and so on and so forth. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. Because it could get a little technical sometimes with the mapping and the knowledge of the third-party software. But once everything is working perfectly, if there is very occasionally will happen errors, so they get involved, yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay, let's go into number 1.
Oops, here we go.
Similar to the invoicing, you could have the advance shipment notice to be reviewed or send fax later or whatever. And so there is the screen here for you to review and take action. These are transactions that have been generated previously. Okay, we get down. And yeah, okay. Number 7.
Can't forget time to save my life.
When you are dealing with a new trading partner, normally you will send them a list of all the codes that you have in your system that they want them to use. So the system can produce reports given a list of all the codes and the line items codes. And this screen here will produce that. Similar, there is a similar one for the G10.
Okay. Maria, was there a delay time that you can set for each customer? In other words, I don't know if it relates to advanced shipment notices or what have you, but was there a time that you can, kind of queue them up and send them at a certain time? Maybe it's, in the middle of the night or what have you.
Yes. Yes, there is yes, there is one. And it's a screen that you set it up. Yeah. It's a schedule that you set it up to do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
How's Jerry C. Smith the last couple of weeks?
Okay.
Nuts.
Next one, Maria?
Yes.
Simple wins.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8.
Quality up, prices up.
I don't know. Quality's been good.
Number 2.
Good.
Most of the screens in this menu is similar to this, where it is asking for you to confirm that's what you want to do. It's the process. It's very transparent because it's done automatically when we say, for example, when we create an advance shipment notice, that is happening when we ship the order. You don't see as a user how that happened or have the ability to say do it this way. There is a standard that needs to be followed, and that's it. Now, there is nevertheless, when you are testing and you, as a technician, you create the files and you want to play with them, and then there is a program that, like this one I show you, to run the process so that you can see it. Normally, what's happening is a job is going to be a schedule to run all these transactions automatically. When, again, going back to the advance shipment notice, the system generates a file, an interface file with that information and stays there. So another program another job has to pick it up. And you can schedule that job to be every hour or once a day or whatever. And then all that is automatically. You don't see anything. But and here in these transactions shown in the EDI menu, it is the manual way that you could do it. So I'm not going to show you that much other than say, execute the process. And if we select number 10, for example, it's the same. Another
it's going to show another screen, Maria.
Yeah. It's it does to tell execute this program.
Mm-hmm.
It is to do it manually, instead of automatically.
Right.
Now, with the credit debit adjustments, when the credit partner sends you an adjustment to we receive that transaction, and
She's really smart.
and on that order processing screen, the one that shows all the orders,
at some point
it's an option to review credit debit adjustments. We produce a report and show you online, but we do not do it automatically. We do not process the adjustment.
The fact that she's given the session essentially says that nobody's taken all this responsibility, probably for a variety of reasons. Most importantly, that they probably don't have anybody using it or anybody new using it. Right.
Number 14. Let's talk about that a little because there are questions, and we really. This is iTrade. iTrade for us is just like another trading partner. We receive transactions from them, and we transmit the transactions back to them. In this particular case, we had a special client that it was using one of the third-party software that required to import the data that we're receiving from the iTrade and export the data from our system to iTrade. Because of this way of doing of the third party, we needed to add these menus options so that the user could do it easily. And all that is automatically. Behind these two options, there's quite a few commands and things to do that. But as far as iTrade is concerned, it's just like any other trading partner for us. It's still, you have to deal with them with the people. And that's it with iTrade.
Maria, do you know who the third-party vendor was in that example?
That was Calabo. They were using Trailblazer third-party.
Trailblazer.
Yeah, third-party software, and it was a PC. It is a PC software, and because it was not a 400 native, we had to do a little work. You take care of all of that. We just automate it for them, but it doesn't have to be really. It's
doesn't have to be Trailblazer.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Then create C codes. UPC is like it says, it's just say special. Some people don't want to create UPC codes for C codes. When we generate the G10 or UPC, normally we don't create for the C code. But if you want it, we have this option to do it. Number 16. Here is what I was talking about, cross-reference file. Here is the N2N global UPC code, and here is the trading cost code in our system. Having this file, and it's indicated in the trading partner file that you want to do this format, we will pick it up. So that's the cross-reference. Some trading partners want that you use their code, not yours. So that's the way to do it. And that is similar function for the G10s.
So Maria, here are we saying that this customer might be America Fresh or whoever they are?
Right.
They have certain UPC codes that they want you to send them. So if they if they were to call Chelan Fresh and order a box of Red Delicious, tray pack, Washington Fancy, trout label apples, CFM may have their UPC code, but this customer may say, when you send me an EDI transaction, I don't want you to send me your UPC. I want you to send me my UPC. Is that what this is doing? I mean, can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yes, that's exactly the same. That's what you're saying. Like their code. So you have to create a cross-reference file table, indicate which one it is for them to send.
Okay, so this would be, in this case, and this might be Amerifresh's UPC.
Yes.
So when we create these interface files that you're talking about, it's going to put this UPC code in that interface file instead of this one.
That's correct.
Okay. So does that mean that in my mapping software that I would map this UPC, because that's what I'm going to send to my third-party software to do the mapping?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Our interface files are very important because the third party is going to map whatever we give it to them. They don't know. They don't know better. So we are ready to transmit the right. This 17 there is nothing there, but when we receive a purchase order, the transactions receive gets a little complicated. If there is an error, we have some customers that wanted to see the file, the data that they sent. Then the user get a little confused because they don't know some of the codes, the standard codes. So with this option, we read the files and kind of make the best translation that we can do and giving them the information. Kind of translate into the terms that we are familiar with. Because in addition to our codes, they say by truck, by plane, something like that in transportation, their code is not a T or it's not an A, it's something different within the EDI transaction. So we do the best.
Maria, going back to number 16, the cross-reference file, is that have you seen that becoming more and more prevalent?
Yes.
With some of the trading partners, is that they're requiring the shippers to use their UPC?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Yes, yeah. Especially the big guys like Walmart or something like that, they want their codes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's why we came up with that, because it became a requirement of some of the bigger retailers that we needed to put something in place to accommodate that.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Number 18, we already saw the EDI trend and partner. And and G10 is the same options that we have for UPC. He initialize the items file. When that is another little option. When your G10 does not contain all the elements that are used in the N2N global system, we need to enter some kind of default, some kind of a letter or something, because when we receive the purchase order with that code, and it doesn't contain, for example, the pack, we cannot enter the order. We cannot create the order in our system. We need something. So when we create the G10, at the same time, we create dummy, let's call it dummy records with that replacement of the element so that then we can find it in our file and we create then the order. Now, when they review the purchase order, they are going to see this dummy code. So, but the person already knows that's what's happening. So it review the order, the line item. You know, if we say the pack is of cartons that we had a dummy of a P or XX, so they know for that particular, based on the other elements, they will know what is the pack. So the person that is reviewing the EDI orders will take care of that. And that is, we go through that process of doing it. Okay?
Okay.
Basically, that's it. Again, to summarize, is we produce transactions, EDI transactions. When we book the order, we produce the PO acknowledgement saying that this is what we are confirming to you. Then when the order is shipped, it will produce the advance shipment notice with all the items that were shipped. We had invoicing. When we invoice, that is the way it looks, the invoice looks like, and the amount, etc. And then purchase orders. We receive purchase orders. We create the order. We also accept changes, and if the order still is an EDI, an EDI status, nobody has reviewed it yet, we will change it. We will change it with the changes received. Now, if that order is not an EDI status, we don't touch it. We produce reports, and then manually it needs to be changed. We have the warehouse shipping order. That is the process between a vendor and a warehouse. Say the vendor receive an order, but it has that in a warehouse. It could use an EDI transaction requesting to fulfill this order, and that's within a warehouse shipping order, which is the 940. And then when the warehouse receives that, in the same manner, they can produce an EDI transaction to the vendor, including all the pallets and details of the shipment.
So Maria, on the warehouse shipping order and shipping advice, so that would be an example where Chelan Fresh Marketing, if they had a third-party warehouse that was packing and or shipping product on their behalf, if they, let's just say, for example, they didn't want to do RTI with them, one option would be to communicate via EDI transactions.
That's correct. Yes.
When CFM places an order for them to ship, then we would send them a 940, and they could receive that order via an EDI in an EDI format. And then when they ship it with the pallet tags attached, then likewise they can send the shipping advice back to CFM so that Chelan Fresh Marketing would know, one, the order was shipped, and then number two, all the pallets that were attached to that.
Right, and we will be update all our files properly, the pallet file and all whatever is needed with that information. Right. Correct. Yeah.
And with the, you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the call that there were, there's an EDI translation software that, is a requirement for, doing this translation between, the client's codes to the customer codes. Do we have recommendations, or what have you seen some of our clients use in the past? Like I know one was called Inovus, and I'm not sure if they're called that anymore. because I think one of those companies has changed, was been bought a couple different times. So I know that was one organization, and I know that's iSeries based, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that is very nice, and we quite a few of our customers use it, and it was very, very nice because we started with that, and the interfaces are very proper for what they require. So it was very easy, the translation and the mapping and everything. Now, there is other customers that use one called Extol. I know it's not very familiar, but it's through the years, it worked very nicely for them. And also a PC, as I mentioned, the Tracer.
Trailblazer.
Yeah, also it's a PC and it's pairing with the i400, but it's okay. I had a good experience with it. Yeah.
Okay. And you said Trailblazers was a PC-based system.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you, Maria. Stan and group, do you guys have any other questions? Yeah, hold on just a second. So the question is, do we still use the bridge files?
The what?
Do we still use bridge files?
What kind of file? I'm sorry.
Bridge, like a bridge that goes over water?
Yeah, that's what we call interface.
Interface files?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's from ours to the third-party software. I guess some people call it a bridge, because then the third party is the one actually sending the data to the training partner. So, yeah.
Okay, so we take the data from our system, put it into what we call the interface file. We send the file to the EDI software. It does the translation and the conversion, and then that EDI software then sends it on to the trading partner.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Have we done any other vendors other than iTrade?
No, that I know. No.
Okay. Does Covalent sound familiar?
The what?
Covalent. I've heard that. Covalent.
No,
Walmart transactions?
No, I don't know. No.
Okay. Okay, hold on just a second there.
Do you hear that?
CSM group is looking to see if they have any other questions.
What the hell is that? Motorcycle? I don't know.
Okay, they want to go back to number 18, the customer EDI screen. So let's go back there for a second. Maria, can you briefly kind of review what the different, do you recall what the different UPC formats, 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, or you could do the online help. Did you?
Okay.
If not, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the main is the number one, which is a different positioning of the elements. And the number two will be the normal way of doing things. You know, our code, their code. And the number three is the cross-reference.
Oh, okay. So that says we're using the cross-reference, so that tells the system to use the customer's UPC instead of their internal one.
Right.
Okay. And then G10, let's see what G10 format says. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so
there is no one in there. It's only 2 and 3. 2.
Okay.
2 is the regular way of doing it, and 3 is the cross-reference.
Okay. Okay. Maria, do you recall if we, and I don't know, I might need to check with some of the other customers, if they're doing EDI, any EDI transactions directly with Walmart?
Well, I can set somebody's hair on fire.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
No.
What about, is OneSync incorporated to this? Because I mean, we've done a lot on OneSync.
Who's OneSync?
With Walmart.
Well, I know there are a customer that do with Walmart, but I think they also have a kind of a third party that is the one that processes all the EDI transactions for them. I'm not sure. Is that the question?
I know we did some sort of synchronization with the Walmart OneSync project with GDSN and GLN and all that kind of stuff. Just not sure if it fell into this particular module. I think I asked, but that might be a question we have to follow up with.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're really big on that. Okay.
I'm not sure of the next question about determining the transaction volume being sent back and forth. I guess I don't understand that question. What?
Unfortunately, we don't deal with it because again, it's the third party, the one is dealing with the volume. You know, as far as us concerned, we never heard of any issue receiving too many, and we were not able to process them.
Okay.
Because as a matter of fact, they are very fast. I mean, as far as us concerned. Sometimes if there is an error or something that you want to catch, you just, it's so fast that you just cannot do it. You have to stop it. I don't think as far as our system, there is no issues with the volume. I don't know the volume with the PC third-party software. I don't know.
We've had a lot of different people using the EDI with high volumes, and to your knowledge, I don't recall any customers having issues with delayed response or.
Yeah, I never heard of that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm asking about volume in particular because one of the IBM products that we mentioned earlier.
Do you know, Maria, if any clients are still using bands?
What kind of hardware we need? Maybe you and I can talk a little bit about.
I don't think I don't think anybody's using vans. It's our customers, but I imagine still there are people in the world that are using it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because sometimes I read something and you say if you use a van, which I thought they were extinguished, but I guess there are people using, not as our customers, but I think still there are some people using it.
Yeah, okay.
Kathy, on the customer that the question that Sam just had, we could follow up internally on that because we have a couple of resources that would know those kinds of metrics.
Right,
Especially some of our recent hires.
Okay. One last question on the regarding EDI the administrator. I think, Maria, you may have kind of touched on it earlier. You said, early on, the EDI administrator, may have, to do some setup because they generally are the one that learns the third-party software and set up the cross-references and so on and so forth. But in your experience or what you've seen and some of our clients, is this EDI administrator have, a full-time job in what they do, or are they also doing other duties? And then once EDI is up and going, they kind of, are able to do other things and not just focus 100% on EDI. I mean, that's the question.
I guess it depends on the volume that they have, but I guess 50-50%, because they need to be on top of it. Of what's going. I mean, if they have a high volume of, for example, purchase orders, receiving purchase orders from different places, they need to be constantly be looking at that it's not an error, that it's flowing well, it's not a glitch in the system, and with the what's going on is the same kind of. They need to be checking. It depends how they set it up. If during the day, only one time at the end of the day, so there is nothing to check. But if they have a high volume and it's all day long receiving things, that person needs to be on top of it.
Okay. Yeah, just to expand upon Maria's comments, I've actually been to some EDI conferences that are just for EDI administrators. My experience is that for customers that are doing EDI and making it, they can make it a strategic part of their business. So something like that would be, for example, utilizing EDI to support clients that want to do vendor managed inventory. These EDI administrators, typically from an attribute perspective, are people that are highly versed in GS1 standards, because there are forms that are very GS1, language specific. There's all kinds of forms that like a lot of the large retailers use that are incorporated in this, that, like the 940s, 945s, and as standards evolve, this person would be on top of those changes and making sure they kind of get those in. So I would say that the biggest EDI companies that we're aware of are probably going to be like the Walmarts, the Krogers, and the large retailers. And so with the heavy amount of volume that I'm aware of that you do with Walmart, if you do go full force with this, it probably would be someone more full time. And one thought would be some of the benefits that as you engage upon contacting the retailer, letting them know that you would like to start utilizing it with them, seeing what other attributes they'll allow you to start utilizing because you're doing EDI. So that may be a discussion opportunity with your retailers to what they'd want you to do. So I would, there's just a lot to be discussed there. And if you want some further thoughts on that, we can schedule a follow-up call, but there's a lot there. Yeah. It would really mean that you're not taking over, and Sam, I mean this to address a question broadly. This person wouldn't be taking an existing function and then just transitioning into a full-time piece. What that really means is there are new things that person is doing as a result of enabling EDI that you're not currently doing at all. So it's almost like a completely new set of functions that person will be taking on.
Very well said. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think our follow-up question is to get back to you guys on the interfaces with Walmart. So we'll follow up on that and get back to you on that. Okay, is there any other questions? We're right at about 2 o'clock. So that was about our hour time frame. And from what I'm seeing, there's no further questions from the Gevers group, Chelan Fresh Marketing group. So I think we're all set. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you to Maria.
Thank you.
We have, I set up a different go-to meeting as a recurring meeting member for the rest of the sessions for the remainder of the next 2 weeks. And we'll be here same time, same bat channel tomorrow to cover tomorrow's topic. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Right,
Take
bye-bye.
care. Bye.
Yeah. So this isn't really the conference room.
Hey, the gentleman over there pointed me here, had a phone, I was good to go. I don't know.
Well, let me show you the conference room, just for future reference.
When we have big crowds?
We have bigger crowds, yes. And we're going to do them up in the conference room. Brooke wants to be involved.
Okay.
And Dan wants to be involved.
Excellent.
And I said, well, we didn't want to run into the cherry meeting.
Right.
Because no one's coming to it anyway, so forget that. She was just,
okay.
We'll do it up there.
Perfect.
So
I'll have to pack up and come back down here. Not that this is an inviting environment. Years gone by. Walmart obviously is a big piece of this pie.
Right.
And when I talked to the company that you guys are using, Cold Valiant Works, or whatever the hell it is there, I'm just like $10,000 per truly Walmart preferred vendor. There are others that I'm not aware of. I don't know who they are. I'm sure I can find out. We'll find out. But has N2N worked with any of them for Walmart specifically?
Right.
When we were dinking around with this years ago, and it has been a long time, Maria was the lead on this, and iTrade was the primary vendor, and their customers, obviously. But I don't ever remember dinking around with Walmart in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You know, Walmart's probably, 9% of your business here total.
And see, iTrade does Kroger. That's the only thing I remember.
Yep, iTrade does. Should I just say? I forgot my glasses. Here they are. The hell is it? Oh, iTrade does Albertsons, H.E. Butt, Kroger, Safeway, Sobeys, Wakefern, Save-A-Lot, blah, 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 blah. And Tyler just sent me something last week where iTrade bought FoodLink, who does CNS and Super Value. So they are the 800-pound gorilla, but the one freaking thing that they're missing is Walmart.
Right.
You know? And if Walmart, I don't know what these numbers are, they just stuck into my head. Walmart's 9% of your business, and if they're 9% of your business, then that stands to reason that they're 20% of your EDI business. You know, and to reinvent that wheel. I mean, this was painful stuff back 10 years ago, and I don't know how much more seamless the interface has become, or it's static. And I kind of have a feeling it's been static. I don't know that. You know, let's see what they say about Walmart. You know, that'll be a big piece.
Right.
But it is there. It is functioning. You know, countless man hours and dollars have been spent on it.
Right.
You know, where do we go from here to get it to work for you guys? That's to be determined. That's for us to, to see. Like everything else, it's got a price tag. So, but no, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, back to Gebbers.
Fun.